Josh, so we talked before about, in more than one video, I'm talking about a busy mind, and I'm saying, like, don't worry about it. What does that mean? Like, just be cynical? No, I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is, if your mind at this point in stage is more ragistic, more busy, what are you going to do? Well, what we can do is try to have a lifestyle that's more sattvic and to relax the mind and nervous system. But we can't control the progress of that. We can't just make that happen overnight. So you can say the mind's dual aspected. It has this calm, more sattvic nature about it, pure mind, and then it has more of a ragistic dynamic at the extreme level, restless aspect to the mind. So both exist, but the consciousness that you are is beyond both aspects. So what difference does it make? What difference does it make if you have a calm mind, then your ego can say, well, I'm enlightened now, I have a calm mind. And then if you have a restless mind, what are you going to say? Like, damn, I'm not awake now. Like, what's wrong with me? See, that's still just mental commentary from the mind or from the ego. So contemplate that question, though. I'll give an answer, but contemplate that question anyway. What difference does it make to you if you have a restless mind or a more sattvic, calm mind? What's the real difference? The real difference for me is that when I have a calmer mind, then it's like I can enjoy my human experience a bit more. But even that's not totally true. Depends where we're at in our karmic evolution. Because at 12 years old, I've shared before, I had a major spiritual awakening. I was so peaceful that I couldn't take it. And so obviously there wasn't much mind. Because like a busy mind and peace, they can't really coexist entirely at the same time. There can be some level of peace, of course, in a busy mind. It depends what the mind's busy about. Is it the universe that's needing to make the mind a bit more busy to take care of something, or is it that you're just worrying about stuff? You know, there's all these factors. Like, we can't, sometimes it's like, man, what are we even talking about, you know? So, if we have a lot of desires, which was my case when I was 12, and I had a lot of, I wanted to be cool, and I still wanted to, I needed to express this human karma. I wasn't ready for a super calm mind. So once I got a taste of that, I was like, damn, I don't want this. And then I prayed to God to take it away, and he did. So the point is, see, that if I would have kept that calm mind, because I said a minute ago, why do we want a calm mind? Because then we can enjoy our human experience more, because the mind's calmer, the nervous system's calmer, and when that's calmer, we're more aware of this serenity. So why wasn't that the case when I was 12? Because I wasn't ready. The karma needs to be burned off first, so that then these desires aren't rolling around in your head, because it doesn't match. If I have a super calm mind, but then I have a bunch of desires, it's like, what? You see? So things have to be kind of organized. That's why we live a certain portion of our life. We're very ambitious and desires and try this, and we want this experience. Ooh, I wonder what it's like to fulfill that fantasy. Do all that stuff. You're done. Now it's time. You're ready for a more calmer mind. And then you have the capacity to withstand that, to enjoy that. The universe is smart. Like a lot of people are praying for a calm, give me please calm mind, but they don't get it because they're not done yet. They still have to go through certain processes in life and experiences, because it's karma. What are we going to do? But the point is that busy mind or calm mind, on a deeper level, what difference does it make? That takes the pressure off. Because just because you have a calm mind doesn't mean I'm awakened now. The real self is awakened. It doesn't. Number one, it doesn't have a mind, and number two, it doesn't declare it's awake. This is another concept that I keep trying to debunk, but I think it's coming very slowly. Because the people's mind were conditioned to really believe, especially in the spiritual path, because it keeps getting perpetuated, awakening, enlightenment, and the mind loves that stuff. So it's about evolution. You can't, you go through your process. You have a busier mind, it's okay. It's okay. And when you really surrender to that and be like, it's okay, you notice it gets calmer. That's the paradox. Don't fight it. Don't judge. Don't listen to other people that are insinuating like there's something wrong with you because, I don't know, he's not too spiritual. Mind's busy. It's also about constitution. If you know anything about Ayurveda, I have a video on that on my other channel, Transcending Shadows. You can go to my channel page and type in Ayurveda, and I think the video will come up. There's 5 elements, right, that make up all the bodies: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Well, every form, including the human body, has too much of a couple elements because it creates that friction, that imbalance in life. Like, you need that to exist. There has to be some imperfection. So if you have too much air and ether, you're called Vata. That's the name Ayurveda gives you. It means too much air and ether. You're going to have a busier mind. But God needs that. He uses those people. They're your writers and your usually musicians and the artistic people, creative people. Like they're just, they're full on. They need that. The opposite of too much air and ether is too much earth. These are Kapha people. They're usually a bigger, they're a little fatter than the average person. Of course, we got to look at, it applies physically, mentally, and emotionally. So just because you're Kapha doesn't mean you're going to be fat, but because you could be Kapha in your mind, which is you're a bit slow, kind of lazy, you procrastinate, stuff like that. So then those people can be misinterpreted by somebody else to think, oh man, they're super calm. Not really. They could be super dull and just not they're just kind of in a trance all the time. Not a spiritual trance. They're just kind of lost, just blowing around like a leaf in the wind, because they're not, there's no stimulation. Usually those people, the Vata attracts to Kapha. And the Kapha attracts to Vata. Why? Because the Kapha needs some stimulation. Vata gives them that. And Vata needs a little grounding, so Kapha gives them that, So that's another thing that people, they mistake, because if you watch somebody and they look like they're so calm and they're talking, it doesn't mean anything. It just means like that's their demeanor, And it could be, don't confuse suppression with calmness. There's a lot of people walking around that look calm that really inside, they need to they need a stick of dynamite to blow all this stuff loose in them, because they're not they're not totally free in a holistic whole sense. They've learned to play a role and they've conditioned themselves to look a certain way. And see, Kapha people, Kapha constitution can do that, but inside there's something not there. They need to be rattled, you see, because there's a lot of suppression. Vata people, not so much like that. They get excited real easy, They're like fun. Like I like being around them. They're much more fun and alive. But then they need to go the other way, get some grounding, because they can just spin out forever, All right, what else? I wrote some notes down because there's some points I want to hit, because it's kind of a big topic. Your mind can always be more calm. It's the same thing as awakening. It's the same thing as anything, really. There's an infinite potential and capacity in you to always get more and more refined. There's no how I say, what's the measuring stick for awakening or enlightenment? Well, what's the measuring stick for a calm mind? Does it mean you never have a thought? Are you allowed to have 2 thoughts? What about 100? No, 99. If you have more than that, So then one can say, okay, well, yeah, you're allowed to have thoughts, but you can't identify with them. To what degree? What degree of identity can you not have with the thought? 30%, 60, 10. So again, it's another concept mind trap that the ego uses. It takes these spiritual, you can say spiritual concepts like calm mind, awakening, and then it uses them to create restlessness. It's like, damn, why is my mind not calm? It's not calm because you keep thinking too much about it, that it should be calm. You live your life, you apply these pointings as best as you can, and then you act like the apple on the tree, where if it's kind of a baby apple or a medium apple, it doesn't start comparing itself to the grandfather apple that's getting ready to fall off the tree. It's chilling. It's being an apple until it falls off the tree. Like, what difference does it make? See, when you have that attitude, that's not a negative attitude. That's a very flexible. That's a true spiritual attitude, because you've surrendered your life. What are you going to do? You can't beat this thing. Can you accelerate evolution? Seemingly, but are you responsible for that? How did the life force in you? You know, it's choosing to do certain things, listen to certain spiritual videos, or read books, or have a sattvic spiritual lifestyle, modifying your life so that increases your vibration, so you can say, well, I'm choosing to do that, and that accelerates my spiritual evolution. Yeah, it accelerates your spiritual evolution, but are you really choosing to do that? It's your destiny that you do that. I think we're getting into my other video I made before, something like, do we really have free will and choice? But this video is not about that. But what I'm saying is, you do the best you can do, which you're already doing anyway. It's not like I'm telling you, you know, it's not like you're not doing the best you can do, and then I say, look, do the best you can do, and then you're like, yeah, I'm going to do the best I can do. You're always doing the best you can do. I'm just trying to reinforce it's all good. That's the main point. I'm just telling you what you're already doing and what you already know. But sometimes it helps to hear that, because the mind can create trouble. It tells us, you know, we need to do more, and we need to do better, and compares ourselves to other people and all that. So when you have a pure mind, less busy mind, like I was alluding to at the beginning, you're more aware of these natural inborn feelings, beyond feelings, but sensations of, you can say, serenity. I like that word better than, you know, bliss. And, you know, again, there's certain words I don't like to use because people use them like in a sickening way sometimes. I'm always blissed out. Yeah, okay, good. So when your mind's more calm, you have access to these feelings, or these sensations, higher vibrational sensations, call them that. Because when the mind's busy, it seems to block that, eclipse that. So the more that your mind is calm, in an organic way, not a suppressed kind of, you just checked out way, like, oh, my mind's calm, really just checked out. When your mind's truly more organically calm, these, it's like you trade in these lower frequency human emotions and feelings. It's like you trade that in, you upgrade. Now you have access to a better experience, a package, a higher frequency package. You know, you get access to a higher software now. So then you start to enjoy these feelings of contentment and serenity and etc. And so you can say that's the benefit of having a calm mind. But still, those sensations, whether they be peace or whether they be restlessness, they're still happening inside your true self, which is consciousness. Consciousness doesn't have peace, and it doesn't have despair. Consciousness, the pure consciousness, is just consciousness. It's just consciousness. So you need these actual negative emotions that we don't like so much, the restlessness and all that, so then you can enjoy and taste the contrast to that, which is the serenity. You see what I mean? It's all good. What difference does it make if somebody's feeling a little more restless than somebody else who appears, maybe they are, maybe they're not, experiencing a higher degree of serenity? What difference does it make? The person with the serenity knows despair, and the person with the present despair is going to know serenity soon enough. The apple on the tree that's almost getting ready to fall, it knows what it's like to be like the apple, like going through the ripening stage. The apple going through the ripening stage is going to soon know what it's like to fall. So what difference does it make? You know, the time. The difference is only for, you can say, the ego mind. That's the difference that it makes for. But your true self is watching this whole process. This whole process is happening inside your true self. So don't worry about it. That's always my main point. It's like you relax. This is the highest spiritual principle. Relax even when you're not relaxed, and even when you and you can't relax when you're not relaxed, still somehow just relax. Go find some hymns or mantras or better a bhajan, and just sing this over and over in your head, day and night if you want. This somehow helps purify the mind, it calms it down to a degree, and then you can start to get you get subtle downloads. You get subtle realizations when your mind's not always chattering away. And that's fun. That's a nice experience. And you can always get more subtle downloads. It's an infinite process and journey of getting more and more downloads. You don't reach some end like Ramana Maharshi or Paramahansa Yogananda. They haven't reached the end where they're there. No more downloads. I've got all the downloads. You can always get more downloads. You see how this process and journey is infinite? Something has to surrender to that, and then you cooperate with this journey, and then you understand what it means. It's about the journey, not the destination. I think that's some slogan that people like to hear, because it is. But don't get identified with the journey. You see, don't get obsessed with the journey and start judging the journey. That makes more restlessness, but you got to do that maybe for a while so that you know, like, you don't want to do it. You see, so that's also good. All the mistakes, everything is good. You can't transcend without mistakes. You can't surrender without not surrendering. You see, it all goes together. So you just chill. That's my message. See you.